It's a little bit dark. It's a little bit dark. You got anything on the side there, or you don't have to. Doesn't
Is that
matter.
help? Was that like
No,
let oh
the backlight's not going to help your face,
no.
but you don't need one. If there's
It
another
put
light anywhere in the
a
room,
light on
you don't need it.
before. Like I tested it and you could see me. Hmm. Hang on.
Uh,
I'll
Probably
just turn around.
because
Ah, there we go.
oh, let me we're live. Hang on, but there you
We're
go.
live.
Hang on,
You're right.
let me tag you on the post to make sure everything's okay with it. We're like, oh my God, we're live. Okay, hang on. God, what a okay. Let me tag you since you're one of those that's changed your name again. Is that your married name or what?
No, that's maiden.
Can you hear? That's your maiden name,
Yeah,
Drabble.
yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. All right, hang on. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, you're tagged, and we're live on Facebook and X and YouTube. Okay,
Oh, cool.
so here we go. All right,
Lift.
here we go. God, your place looks really good energy. Yeah,
Yeah, it's lovely.
good
It's
energy at 7:06 in London.
it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a wood cabin, and it's like up,
Yeah.
kind of up in the trees with a spring or like a spring runs underneath.
Oh wow, Holy
Mm,
Land. Right.
beautiful. Yeah, yeah. Very blessed.
So, this is episode 042. Lisa Marie Drabble, as we know her as Lisa Marie, as the facilitator of Conquers. We've done a few shows over the years, and yeah, it's good to have you in this sacred space. I
Mm.
feel a little discombobulated,
Do
and
you?
the energy's been intense, say the least, since the eclipse, equinox, and now we're what, one day away from the bookend of the eclipse. And everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people talked about the 21st being the actual end of the Kali Yuga into the new cycle, into the new precession of the equinox segment, the new Earth, really and truly beyond all the talking and everything. A lot of people are pointing to this time. And seeing a lot of interesting posts. Yeah, so I want to talk to you about what's going on real time and also, what you were telling me about with the telepathy tapes, which I've been watching. I think I've watched three full episodes now because I have to watch a little bit at a time.
Yeah,
Um,
it's awesome, isn't
but
it?
yeah, welcome to the space. Thanks for coming in and sharing it with me. Huh?
Thank you for
What's that?
holding it. Is there a
Yeah.
delay
There's a
on
bit
here?
of a lag. You go.
Yeah. Okay.
It'll catch up. It'll catch up. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Cool.
Yeah. So thanks for coming in. Go.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Todd. Like, I always love chatting with you. You're just so easy to talk to. You want me to keep talking?
Well, it's up to you. So what's been going on? I mean, how are you feeling right up to
Yeah.
this day? I mean, has everything
Uh,
been just, you know, you know,
it's been,
cookies and cream for the last 2 or 3
yeah.
weeks, month? I mean, has everything been all right? I mean, are
Yeah.
you having any deep dives? Are noticing anything, the patterns of your existence that are changing, or I don't know, what's going on? What's your report from the front line of the apocalypse?
The front line here is that I appear to be in like through all the deep dive. Well, we know that there's always more layers, so but I haven't been in a deep dive for quite a few years now, since not since I was in Scotland.
Hmm,
And now just I seem to be in like pure magic, pure, like pure
hmm,
magic, like where miracles are normal. And that's what I keep saying to people, like as you keep going, the more we go, like more miracles are not like this rare thing that doesn't happen. Like they're normal, everyday occurrences.
yeah,
Manifestation is
yeah.
fast, really fast. And so, yeah, I remember we had one of the, I don't know if it was our first chat, but I think at that time, I think it was 2021, I was like building like this online school for these children, like, you know, the new ones coming in that are just fully tapped in, like we know from the
Yeah,
telepathy tapes.
right.
But now I have a physical. Uh, I had to say academy because the children say don't call it a school because we hate school. So we have it's called
Really. We're
Magical
gonna
Girl
have,
Academy. Yeah,
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 we're definitely gonna have to get into this part of it. Yeah. Just to recap,
yeah.
we'll start there if you want to. So I remember. Now you're in you. What do you call it over there? I don't know the difference. You're in England. Is it
Dorset.
Scotland, England? Okay. So
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
in England. You're in England
yeah,
now, right?
yeah. Right at the
You
bottom.
were in Scotland.
Yeah,
Okay. And you were living the van life
yeah,
when we first met. Okay. You were out and about. And
yeah.
then at some point, and we've had private conversations too, so I get them mixed up. You're
Yeah.
one of the few people I Zoom with over the years, uh, which hasn't been real frequent, but I remember them because they're like, in the flow. So
Yeah,
you, so I know like at least the last time, maybe two, like you said, it was like 2021. You were doing some stuff with children, or you were headed that way online. And then I think it was about a year and a half, 2 years ago. I remember you were making progress. Some people, you connected with some people in the flesh, like in the community. I remember y'all took pictures, y'all had like a little event. But you've now stepped into a space where you're working with children. I guess would be, formally speaking, like a private school offering for children. So, what's the age range? What's the concept behind it? If you can refresh our memories, because I think it's important.
yeah. Ages range from sort of three. Well, we say 3 to 300.
Hmm.
So, I originally thought that the academy was for children, but it's for everyone. So we run classes for everyone that wants. I mean, it's tiny at the moment because it's just been me, but now I have another fabulous lady that's joined me. And so it's the two of us. And we're just running it at the moment, like on weekends and during the regular school holidays. So then as soon as that ends, they all come to us. So we're basically like a mini Hogwarts, what we've done. You seem to, I thought you'd frozen. No, you just sat very still.
No, no, don't pay attention to that. My internet will go in and out, but
Okay.
it'll catch.
Yeah.
So so you're working around the system, so to speak.
Yeah.
You're plugging in on the weekends and you're plugging in on holidays.
Yeah.
And how are you getting the word out? How many people, how many children and parents or people are involved, whether they're there every week or not? I mean, how many people are kind of plugging in?
Oh, they just sort of come when they want to. That's the best school, right? You go when you
Hmm.
choose to because you want to be there. And actually, all most of the children that come to us, like they're holding the vision with us. We want to. This will be. I mean, I've seen it for years, and I can see it in the field. It will be a proper academy, and they're going to be built all around the world.
Hmm.
So yeah, the children are just waiting for the moment that they can join us full time properly. So the new what we call them New Earth schools or New Earth academies, they're um, child-led learning and mixed age classes, and the children will bring what they want to develop. So that's how I ended up on the telepathy takes because we do have the ones with telepathy that bring their parents to me so I can transmit messages for the children to the parents.
Far out. Okay,
That
this is going to be good. Yeah.
yeah.
So, because I have a couple of questions, just because I'm not sure that anyone who sees this will be up to speed on everything. I'm not even up to speed on everything, and I was with you talking
Ah,
about this as it
yeah,
was evolving. But so, well, let's just say through, because we have to use the newer terms with the older terms, but through word of mouth and through the ethers and through synchronicity and flow, people,
yeah,
parents with their children are coming to you at some
yeah,
level. There's an awareness with those involved that you have the ability to communicate, like so many people listening to this right now, which is what I'm starting to get excited about and talking to you, because it's something that's really been on my mind. So I want to get into that with you later, but I really want to focus on what you're doing. I know there's others doing it because I've come across them, and I
Okay.
probably know about as much about it as I do about yours. But what I do know is that they're stepping forward with it, that there is the higher sensitivities are involved, children are involved, parents are opening up to it. Um, but in terms of like what you do in your time with the children and the parents, okay, uh, the instruction or direction or participation or whatever these things are, whatever you want to call them. Can you tell us about that, what you do, what some of the results have been? And then when you've kind of filled us up with that, let us know how you gotten and connected with the telepathy tapes.
Okay. So all of this has moved very, very, very quickly. So it's like, like when your soul mission kicks in, it's like, right now, go. Because I had years of like stillness where I was just, had to be still. And I was like, how long is this going to go on for? And then it's like, so when people are in that, I want to encourage you to enjoy the stillness, enjoy it, because when it's time to go, you're going to be so fucking busy. Like so busy. Like this is not just a school. So it looks like a small building, but it's on the grounds. It's on 160 acres on the grounds of a stately home. And I had £200 to my name when I got it. And in fact, this is all like guided by, I've got Merlin, I've got Guinevere coming through. I think we've talked about Guinevere before. It's also a Temple of the White Rose. We've got a Council of Elders. We've got a council. They're on for the academies. And children, we have some children that join our council meetings. They're part of it. We
Now,
involve.
are you talking about physical entity, human
People.
incarnated beings being on these councils and such? Is that
Yeah.
right?
Then,
Okay.
and then we have all the others show up as well, of
Yeah, yeah.
course.
Okay. I just want to make the distinction for anyone that's watching. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, this kind of came in. I began. It was February because I saw an old post. It was February 2023. What are we? 25 now? Yeah, 2023. I literally because I was it's hard to keep up, isn't it? Um, and I was making candles. So I'm making these candles and I'm still doing it. I've got my brand Rock and Rose Rituals. So it's all about water consciousness, ritual bathing, candles, plant medicine, that with which I get from this yew tree in Scotland, which we talked about before, the Fortingal yew tree. So I'm doing that. And I thought I was opening a shop here. And then I have this dream where I'm teaching magic potions to children and it's Merlin delivered. So I would say Merlin's kind of pulling my strings here, like he's showing me what to do. And I have the souls of the ones that haven't yet incarnated that are showing me what to do and how to build these. Am I jumping around a bit
You
here?
know, no, no, you're not jumping around. I just let's tap into this a little bit. Because I want to tie it into because to me, listening to you already, I'm not taking anything away from the work of the telepathy tapes, but where I'm going with this, I'm really excited now talking to you because I've been wanting to get this off my chest, but we'll do this later. But what I'm saying is I can already see because when I looked at the telepathy tapes, and for anyone who hasn't, isn't familiar with the telepathy tapes, there's not that many episodes. I think there's probably a dozen right now. But it's a filmmaker, a documentary style filmmaker that got into working with autistic children and da 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 da. And she has come in. I don't want to say as a non-believer, but she
Yeah,
has come in as an outsider and now has been exposed to all of the things that we've talked about, for instance, on the old show all these years in these communities, which includes people that have passed, to intuition, to telepathy, to just to every really beginning to touch every subject that we have. Uh, but the advantage, I want to say the advantage, the difference that you might have and those like you that are doing things like you're doing is you're already assimilated, you're already acclimated with the ethers and the non-physical, let's just say the non-physical connections and aspects. So now you're saying, and this goes in with, again, many of the women that we've talked to over the years, you're actually connecting not only to the physical, consciously aware children and parents, you're also connecting to your aspects or your guides, you might put it that way, but also now you have children who are going to be coming to you in the
Yeah.
physical, who are assisting you and collaborating with you and communicating with you in evolving and building and preparing, I guess, the new curriculum. Was that
Yeah.
a good summation? Just so we can kind of, okay.
Perfect. Absolutely bang on. Yeah, yeah. So we started off, and this is what we do week on week. So we do magic potions with the children, but what by doing that, that attracts these ones like a magnet, and we don't need to do any marketing. The children do all of our marketing. They just go around telling everyone about us, and what we've noticed is some people can't actually see us, like our space. They're like, "How long have you been here?" And I'll say we're nearly 2 years, and they say I walk by here every day. I've never seen this. This is quite interesting. Um, but yeah, so when we're doing the magic potions with the children, what they it's just opening up their abilities and letting them know that it's perfectly safe and perfectly normal for them to see the things that they see. Like for example, I had one little girl that she's 4, and she put her hand up in my class, and she's like, "Do you know that there are beings in nature that can see us, but we can't see them because of our vibration?" And she's 4. So yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, this is cool stuff. This is really cool stuff. So let's take the example of the potions because no, I was just watching. I've been keeping my eye on all these. I've mentioned it many times on the show. I have kept my eye on all these different platforms, from Joe Rogan to very small ones,
Yeah.
to see what people are talking about,
Mm.
to just get a feel for things. And just very recently, maybe a couple days ago, I saw a clip, and it was actually Rogan, and him and the guest were laughing. And I'm not taking a shot at them. I'm just trying to make a point. Uh, they just happen to be the ones that presented the energy to me. They were laughing about, and I don't know what it was specifically, but I would say it would be something like this. Like, hey, there's this lady in southern England. She's got a school. It's going to be like Hogwarts, and
Yeah.
they're teaching kids how to make potions,
Yeah.
and children who haven't incarnated yet are coming to them like moths to a light, and
Yeah.
and contributing their intelligence and so on. But they were laughing about it, and so I've really struggled recently. It's funny because you mentioned enjoy your time when you're off, because when
Mhm.
it gets turned on, you're going to get real busy. Well, I was busy for a long time. I've been off for a while, and it's driving
I'm
me up the fucking wall. And I
okay.
can feel it about to burst. And I feel like there's a connection to the content of what we're talking about today and what you're doing.
Mm.
And that I don't see out there. You see a little bit of it dipping in with the telepathy tapes, but you don't really see it. Everything is about the clickbait. Everything is
Yeah.
about, oh, I had a near-death experience. Well, we all did. Everything's about channeling. Well, we all do it. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to make fun of it, but there's something about the embodiment that's occurring now through initiatives like you're doing. So I want to ask you, you said everything kind of happened in the flow. You had 200 pounds in your pocket, or something like that,
Yep.
and you end up with some 100, 200 acre place
Yep.
where you can have this thing for the last couple of years. Have you hit any resistance, or has everything been coming to you kind of magnetically?
Um, I would say pretty much magnetically. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I first got the space, it's just like a breeze block, bare building, like it looked, and so, Daniel was like, "Lisa, what are you doing?" I was like, "You can't." I could see it all. I knew what it was going to look like. I said, "Just trust me." And then friends donated like fairy lights and flower garlands, and we painted the walls white, and now it is really, really, really magical inside. um and all I kept hearing, when I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, who does this? um I just kept hearing on repeat, build it and they will come, build it and they will come, just on repeat, just keeping me going, keeping me going. And then I'll have moments where it'll be really quiet and nobody's coming. And again, I'm like questioning, what am I doing? Why don't I just be normal and get a job? Or, but yeah. And then it just picks up again. And then they start coming. I'll have like a crazy busy day with like so many miraculous moments that, it's hard to me, it's now normal. It is literally normal. So, you know, um, but yeah, and it's just constant, like, changing, evolving, and they really are coming now. Like the children they're like drawn to me like a magnet because they know I can really see them. And they are something else. They really are.
Are the parents typically open when they bring the children? Are they a bit
Yeah.
reluctant? Are some of them coming to you, or any of them coming to you, like as an alternative to try to understand their kid or try to
Yep.
help their kid or cure their kid even?
Yep. Yep. I have a lot of ones that are being told that their child is autistic or ADHD and all this nonsense. And so I just share with the parents, like here we call it not autism, we call it awesomeism, because I said they're just dialed to a higher dimension, which they really, really are, and they're here to teach us. We're not here to teach them our ways. Why would we do that? That's insanity. Like we need to change everything, and they're the ones bringing this change. And so as soon as I say this to the parents, I have like a library in there as well, full of books on all of this. Like the Crystal Children, and there is a brilliant book called Awesomeism. That's where I got that idea from. So I recommend that to anybody who might have one of these amazing children. But yeah, every parent I share this with, they get like emotional, they get chills, and they're like, oh, and they're taking pictures of the books. Like, I'm going to get this. So it's like, they knew that there was more to their child than what they're being told. They just know it. You know that you're a parent yourself, so you know your children intuitively. And so yeah, they're open to it and actually really, really excited that we're here. And what is lovely is we get a lot when we run the classes. Very often we'll get parents and grandparents just welling up with emotion because it's just so pure and so magical. And it reminds them, it's awakening their child inside. So very often as well, we'll get grandparents or parents joining in. They'll join in the class. They'll make a potion. Um, and yeah, it's really, really incredible.
Well, I mean, you see, well, I'm in a different age bracket. So maybe these posts stand out to me sometimes, but they'll put like oh, in the 60s or the 70s, they'll show like a bunch of bikes on somebody's front lawn that are all thrown there
Yeah,
because they're all, you know how it used to be back in the day. Uh, but this goes even further. I would imagine that, because so much for me anyway, it seems to me more and more apparent that what's been unconscious in us, like memories we forgot or whatever the case is, are getting turned on
mm,
more and more and more.
yeah,
And it's kind of subtle, but it's happening. So I see like grandparents and parents observing what you're doing, and unconsciously, the stuff's going off in their
yeah,
head, like, in their body, like it's turning something on. So
yeah,
obviously, I think physical encounters and interaction probably carry the most potential for uh, awakening code because, there's more frequencies involved. Uh,
yeah. We
you
see that.
have
We
to,
we even had a moment where I was doing I do one-to-one with some children. That we have ones that are highly sensitive. So I'm blessed that I can do one-to-ones. And so I was working with this boy. He's 10 and he's homeschooled, but he's already studying the string theory and quantum physics. He's something else. And as we were talking, this lady came in. She's in her 70s, and she just stopped and she just listened to him talk. And she started crying. She just looked at him. She said, "We've waited so long for your arrival, for you ones to come," because she's been awake since I think, what did she say, like the 50s or something, or 60s. So she's been like having, and these elders, I've only seen elder women at the moment, But when they come in, they whisper. They've just had such, they're so used to not being able to speak their truth that they whisper things to me. But yeah, it's it's multi-layered, and I don't know what's happening day to day. I just have to go with the flow with it all.
Wow, that's powerful.
Mm,
That's really powerful. I can only think of like, I've been listening to Barbara Marciniak. I don't know when she
yeah.
officially woke up, but like I think of Patricia Cotter Robles. We've had some people on here that go back to the 60s and the 70s. So I
Mm.
can't even imagine a woman 50 years into this and walks into your place and sees this kind of thing happening. What so far, uh, what are the most amazing and exciting things coming through these children?
Hmm. Gosh, there's just so much. Just their energy. Oh, okay. So since the beginning of last year, 2024, um, I had Merlin came and he said, you need to start making a note of all of the children's names and the potions that they make. And this is a book. We're keeping a logbook. Now we've had a Thor, we've had Athena, we've had Artemis, we've had all these gods and goddesses coming in, and then and then they're making. We've had a Jupiter. Um, it's just that the names that they choose are quite phenomenal. And then the potions that they're making, I would say probably about 80% make potions to heal the earth and for the animals and for the ocean. So these children are literally dreaming everything in and speaking it in every time they come.
So when you say Merlin and Artemis, etc., are coming in, are they bringing your attention to them? Are you bringing their attention to these beings, or both?
Both, but so I have Merlin that guides me, but then Artemis, the other ones, they're literally the names of the children. So these children are holding these names.
What? These are
Yes,
their actual given names?
these are their given names.
Oh,
Like
wow.
they've
Wow.
I should publish it at some point.
That's powerful.
Just,
Yeah.
they I can't remember. There's so many of them, but all like the gods and goddesses.
Right,
That they're
right.
the names that these children have.
There's no mistakes.
No,
So,
no.
so I think what you're saying is that every time that you get together, um, it's all exciting, it's all amazing, and it's
Mhm.
not so much the particulars of, let's say, intel that they're bringing in. It's the atmosphere that they're holding and their intentions in that atmosphere, and then going forth from there. I guess, like you said, they kind of etherically, through word of mouth, pass the information on to others and bring others in. So basically, it's a growing, living organism or consciousness that they're really the impetus of it all. They're the ones that are really stepping forth, I guess you would say, because they've been given a space to do it.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So I would say we're demystified mystery school.
Mm.
So the mystery schools that were are returning, but they won't be hidden anymore because they don't need to be hidden anymore. And so this is what this is. Yeah, I had something else I was going to say, but it's just gone. It'll come back.
Mm.
Mm.
We can go back and forth. So, how did the telepathy tapes find out about what you're doing? How did
Right.
that connection happen with the two
Yeah.
of you?
Um, so about 6 months ago, I think it was, I received a download that I'm to start a podcast and I need to start sharing these stories and to help other parents of these children. And then as soon as I found the telepathy tapes, I was like, that's exactly the same download that I received. So I was delighted. Because at the time I was like, I'm too fucking busy. I can't take another project on. And so I was so over the moon. And the fact that it's been done by a professional documentary maker is perfect. She's the perfect one to bring it through. So that I wrote to them I just wrote to them and I said, hey, I know you're all about interviewing the children, but we're building the schools or the places of learning for these ones. And they just got back to me straight away, just saying they're so excited. They've not heard of anything like that yet. So yeah, we'll be going out, I think late April, early May.
Where are you going to be going?
I was interviewed, so our
Oh,
episode goes.
you were already interviewed. You were already interviewed. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's really
happened about
cool.
3 weeks ago, I think it was three.
That's
Yeah, about
really cool. Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, I'm really glad that we did this today. I knew there was a reason. I've been struggling to try to even like set up the right shows and stuff and with this stuff going in my head, but I kind of see like I don't know. I feel like maybe this will come out soon. I know this is about you, but I feel like it's relevant because the telepathy tape the telepathy tapes to me, and it's interesting because it's probably the hottest podcast out there these last couple, 3 or 4 months.
the most listened to
It
podcast on Spotify.
do what?
It's the most listened to podcast on Spotify.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Wow.
even, making its way on the video
Yeah,
circuit as well, even though they just put a picture up in the voice, right? But what I was getting at is so they started to expose into the mainstream, and I can remember 3 or 4 years ago, doing like the mixes I used to do. We're going to take this mainstream. We're going to keep doing this until it becomes mainstream. And that's what I saw with them. And so now they're interviewing you. And that's kind of what I can see in my head. I don't know what it looks like, but to actually take the show on the road, in other words, and I mean figuratively, where the discussion isn't about what I can channel or my past life memories or my intel of the future or my psychic occurrences. It's about all the people like us who have been talking about these things and experiencing these things for many, many, many years. And this includes everything from the elementals that visit us as children to the ET to everything in between. All this stuff is commonplace. It is our reality that has been hidden behind the veil, so to speak.
yeah.
So I really am excited to hear that you're going to be on that show and that this is getting some exposure now. Have you
Mm.
gotten any other exposure like from newspapers or people or anything like that?
Mm, not no, not yet. But yesterday I started receiving downloads that it's about to blow up. So just be
Yeah,
ready.
yeah.
I know that I just remember the thing I was going to share with you. Um, I have so when we do the potion, we work with the dragons, the elementals, the unicorns. I said, can we talk about unicorns? They've been really, really present this year. Um, and mermaids, all of these. And so the boys love, I mean, girls too, actually. Last year was all about dragons, which we were in the year of the dragons, but the children were so obsessed with dragons. And so they often they ask me, like, when can I meet a dragon? I said, well, you can't in this realm, but you can in the seventh dimension. And they go, how do I get to the seventh dimension? So well, you have to find the portal. Where's the portal? And they're looking around my space for the portal. And I was like, maybe it might be in the forest. So we've got all these children looking for the portal. So I don't think it'll be long before one of them comes back to tell me they found it.
That's really cool. Did you talk to, I forget the lady's name. What's her name? Kai, that runs the telepathy tapes. And by the way, somebody asked, you can listen to telepathy tapes on Spotify. You can watch them they have a YouTube channel. That's all I know. They probably on X. God, what was I asking you?
Kai. No, I didn't speak to Kai. I spoke to her assistant, Catherine.
No, okay, but okay. So in the interview, in the information that you shared with them, did you talk about this part of it, or did you
No,
stay on? Did you
I
stay in
didn't.
the?
I
Uh,
didn't. I was like frozen. Normally, like with you, I can chat away and it's fine.
yeah, yeah,
But they
yeah.
were like, "Do you have any more stories to share?" And I was like, I was just like frozen. I couldn't share more, which was super interesting. So maybe it wasn't quite the right time. But they've said, we really want to keep in touch with you. So
Well,
the more,
it's like I said, I think it's a great thing. And she went on Rogan about
I
5 weeks
know.
ago.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, I can see where it's like it came out, it's kind of like, has like this honeymoon period. I really feel like, and although I think she's very, very capable, don't get me wrong, I'm just saying that it would make sense to me that those people that have actually been in the trenches,
Mm,
that have actually been, that you might say, living the lifestyle, living a conscious awareness to include all this multidimensionality to the best of our abilities, etc., that it's not new to, uh, that it would seem like that the mobilization of that type of consciousness, be it 10 people or 100 people, would really, really be a powerful thing. And maybe that's what's happening. Maybe that's what's formulating.
mm.
Now, you talked about potions, you talked about dragons. I want to hear about the unicorns in particular. But I want to ask you too, in terms of like uh, the children themselves. Are you finding that they're speaking to each other? Is it something that you're aware of, or that they share with you, or that you've noticed where they're actually speaking to each other non-verbally, above telepathy or even verbally?
Um, no, I haven't noticed that yet because I know in on the telepathy tapes they talk about this place called the Hill where there's this one kid in America and his best friend is another kid in Denmark, but
Right.
they've never met, but they meet in another realm and they call it the Hill. I haven't come across that yet. Um, but I do ask some of the children, like if they're aware of telepathy. I don't think it'll be long before we're doing classes on telekinesis and all of these things. All the children will just show me what they can do. But when if especially if I get a group of close friends that come in together, they said, "Oh yeah, we do this all the time. It's quite normal for them."
Right. Right.
Mm.
Yes.
But
Well,
they
yes. I
are
mean,
verbal as well.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can think of, for instance, like, I can't remember all the people that were in it, but I think it was Jed Riverstone, uh, uh, five or six of them from around the world. He's in Australia or New Zealand, and one's in England, and blah blah blah. And they would call it weaving, soul weaving, right?
Mm, mm,
Uh, and it was a formal gathering, like in a Zoom, but also there was, and we all know this. I mean, all the people we've talked to over the years. I mean, there's this communication occurring, um, in the etheric, people working together, at the pyramids or here or there. I mean, so it's
yeah.
a real thing. Now, in terms of like, because it feels like even with this coming to the surface, like with initiatives like yours, there's still, I would imagine, a general perception of woo woo, right? You know what I mean? And then you have this introduction or greater acceptance of these children who are providing a different perspective, you might say.
Mhm.
Um, so because we're still in a world that's transitioning, and we're not, and it's so funny you said that, because we said it on the show for years, oh, these kids are going to be teaching us, right? Which is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
But
yeah.
because we're still not fully transitioned there, I guess my question is, are you getting like, um, is the attitude, what can we do, Lisa? Do we take them home and teach them how to meditate?
Mm,
Um, do we teach them about the chakras? Uh,
mm,
or is it your impression that these children already have it, and that's not the type of traditional training they need? It's more of encouraging them to meet on the hill, to reach out for dragons, to reach out for the seventh dimension, to work with energies and consciousnesses such as Guinevere or Merlin.
yeah. They just do it naturally. So
Hmm.
there's no teaching required there. I,
Mm,
I I really, from what my experience with them, it's not so much that they need teaching. They need nurturing. They need
mm,
integration into this reality. um, we it's our responsibility to kind of guide them in this reality, but allow them to be fully them, which I was very, very blessed with a mum who allowed me to be. I was kind of like I was that kid. Um, And so I remember being 6 years old going, what is this place? Why do I have to be here? And then I heard the voice and it's like, the world is going to change drastically and you're here for this. And so I made a promise that when I'm big, I'm going to start my own school, one for children like us, right? So
Right.
basically everything's run by 6-year-old Lisa. Um, so yeah, they just need nurturing, and I just keep trying to, I even had one mom, and she said her son's ADHD, and yeah, he was fidgety, but they have so much energy moving through their bodies. They need to move it. To try and get them to force them to sit still and not move it is abuse, in my opinion. You need to let them move. And she even asked me, oh, I have noticed that when I give him orange squash, it makes him worse. Do you think food plays a part? A lot of people really don't know that. So,
Uh-huh.
I'm currently building our new website. I'm putting like a whole, like, loads of resources, like what these children need,
Mm.
well, all children, including us, what we need. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so much coming out now with the connection between vaccines and autism,
Mm,
vaccine, HDHD, ADHD, and uh, and then of course, the food, especially like in America. I mean, it's interesting to me because I've said again for years and years, not because I'm smart, because I believe in us and I believe what we're doing. GMOs, fluoride, chemtrails, conditioning, educational institutionalization, et cetera, and we're still doing it, right?
mm.
And obviously, our playmates that were on the other side or whatever knew these children were coming in supercharged. They
Yeah.
knew they were coming in as a micro aspect of the expanding energy as they were birthed into the new environment. So these
Mhm.
things, the pharmaceuticals and everything and the food directly, really, and even clothing, right?
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Directly related to offset or diminish or neutralize something they can't. Okay, which
Mm.
is which is really exciting because I was reading today, there's still as part of the protocol here, and again, I'm not judging anything. I'm just putting facts on the table. Everybody can make up their own mind. But the here in the U.S. anyway, that at 6 months, a child, unless somebody says something, is going to get a COVID vaccine at six
Oh,
months old. So the fuckery, the bullshit still going on.
yeah.
All the more reason to expand the awareness of initiatives like this. I don't know
Mm.
how we do it. Probably like you didn't know how you were going to do what you're doing, but you
No
end up on a
clue.
200-acre property. Have you
Yeah.
noticed any difference in the genders, the boys and the girls? Do the girls have different attributes than the boys, or are they pretty much all coming in with a full toolbox or tool belt at hand?
Good question. I hadn't really thought about that. And no, I think they're all on a pretty level playing field. The only thing I would say is the boys tend to be much more kind of linear, logical. They like structure.
Right,
Very really really need structure. Sudden change in anything that will really throw them off. Whereas the girls are very flowy, very, very, very
right.
flowy. Yeah,
I think that's a natural, I mean,
yeah,
I helped raise two boys and four girls, and that's one thing, you put a boy in a room with a certain, let's just say like a certain structure, you said like a dynamic,
yeah,
like a theme, like cowboys and Indians or
yeah.
football, and or building blocks, and that's all they need.
Mhm.
And with the girls, you could set up a room with, all the stuff they like, and the windows open, and they walk in the room, and they're like, oh my God, I'm going outside. They climb through the window, right? Yeah, but maybe that's an inherent, uh, purity, innocence, the power of the innocence, the purity, the childlike wonder that is a natural part of our soul that has come in not to be diminished with them. And maybe that's just but I don't know. I just thought it was something to,
Something that I do know and that I've witnessed time and again is that if anybody has these children, they can. So a lot of people believe that the child is being difficult. So these children are hardwired for truth. So if
Mm,
you're saying certain things, but your energy is like, yeah, that's bullshit, the kid
right,
knows. These
right,
children know, and they will not go anywhere near you.
right.
Like, what this one mum, she brought her little son to me, and he was chatting away, chatting away, chatting away, and she would just had a mouth open. She went, he never does this. Normally, he'll be facing the wall. He'll just literally stand at a wall, facing the wall, refusing, arms by his side, refusing to move, refusing to speak.
Mm,
So, they're like, I'm not going anywhere near you because you're full of crap.
mm,
So, which is remarkable. So that, if anybody experiences this, they're not being difficult. They can just see it. They can see everything
yeah.
and feel everything.
Kind of like what we're all starting to be able to do better
Exactly.
and better, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
It
And
doesn't
we
feel
most
right.
of us don't realize that we're full of crap, right? We
Right,
don't realize because
right.
we've been doing the program so long. But these
Yeah,
children know instantly. Same with
yeah,
animals, right? Animals won't go near most humans
right.
because of this reason.
True. That's right. And so, doing this in between the gaps of what has been traditional school, right?
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
are you seeing, and you mentioned homeschooling one parent, but are you seeing any type of change in the perspective or attitude of the
Mm,
parents because they've got their kids in the traditional institution of education over here and they're popping into your magical place on the weekends and holidays? Are you
yeah.
seeing any kind of shift there? Or are they saying, hey, I think I'm going to pull my kids out,
Yeah. A lot.
and are you really? Yeah.
A lot, a lot. I had one little girl, she was age 8, and she's self-harming. She self-harms because she has to go to these institutions. Um, and yeah, I've had emails from teachers that work in these schools that are like, do you have any jobs? Because I love working with children. I love teaching, but I don't want to
Wow.
be in the system anymore. Yeah, it's happening
Mm.
more and more and more. And then a few weeks back, I had this grandmother crying, saying how beautiful it was. And she shared with me that she works for the local council, that the council have actually, excuse me, set up a division to help families whose children are refusing to go to school. Like they're the revolution, these kids.
Wow.
They're refusing to go. They are refusing to comply with anything. And so they're seen as troublesome. So this council have set up a division to work with these troublesome ones, which they're not troublesome at all. They are really awesome. But yeah, it's spreading like wildfire now. It
That's
really is.
awesome.
Yeah, the change
Yeah.
is
Listening to you,
unstoppable.
I'm realizing I was born 60 years too early. Most of most of us probably. Um, yeah, that's really cool. I mean, that's really awesome. Now, have you thought about what you mentioned about the download you received about expanding awareness of it by doing a podcast? Have you thought any more about that?
I have, but I don't feel I
You
need
don't
to.
feel it yet.
I feel like I've been invited on
Yeah.
another show a couple of days ago, so like the invites are coming in, so maybe I won't have to, but maybe I will. I don't know. At the moment, no, it's just there's too much because I also run tours and retreats in Scotland, so that keeps me busy. This is why I love it when the children come in and say, "Oh, I've got ADHD." I say, "So have I. I've got 3 businesses." It just means we can do all the things.
So you do tours and retreats in Scotland.
Yeah.
That's your normal routine, your normal job. I have a feeling I have a feeling it's a little bit woo woo.
Yeah.
You must have some woo woo in there somewhere.
Oh God, yeah, yeah. We hang out with like the ancient Celtic, the Pictish people and the fairies, and yeah, yeah,
Wow. And so this really picked up about 2 years ago, right?
yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
have you, in your own experience, have you noticed, has there been an uptick in the higher sensitivities, in the higher connections, and or has there been any collective experiential with the children at school where somebody, oh my God, what was that just walked through the classroom? Or did you see the unicorn? I mean, have you seen an uptick in activity for yourself and or around the school itself, where others are acknowledging it?
Um, Not as yet, but I do occasionally get some children in that their parents tell me that they're always sharing that they see. It's mostly
Mm,
spirits, or people that are in spirit that they can
mm.
see. Um, that's and yeah, and quite a few children tell me that they do see fairies.
Yeah, I
Quite
would
normal for
imagine
them.
over there.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Uh, Tell me about, because you did mention in jest, but I know many a true word spoken in jest, and obviously, you know, I've hosted shows where we talked a bit about unicorns, but you seem to emphasize unicorns when you messaged me in a while ago. Has there been anything worth mentioning with that consciousness? With the unicorns.
Yeah, well, the reason being is because since sort of the beginning of this year, like a majority of the children are connecting with unicorns. Like I said, last year was dragons, and this year it's all about unicorns. And it's quite funny because at the end of last year, I was
Mm,
like sort of feeling sorry for the unicorns because no one was
mm,
really remembering them. But this year it's very unicorn heavy, and in so for the past few days, I've personally have felt the consciousness of the unicorns coming in so much so in that they've delivered. I'm writing a part of like a course, like a workshop on unicorns with the unicorns.
really?
Yeah,
Like a
yeah.
like your curriculum. You're building
It's
like a course.
part of the curriculum. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the new one that's coming in.
And so what would you say that because I have to say, the shows I did, I remember, a handful of times. And it might have just been, yeah, the unicorns came, but I mean, there was probably five or six times where people had like a detailed experience. What
Mm.
are the attributes and the characteristics? What do you feel like, what piece of the puzzle, of the cosmic puzzle, is the unicorn energy of consciousness bringing to the table, in your opinion?
For me, it feels very much like welcome home. Like
Mm,
there's been waiting for us to return, to walk with them again. That's the strongest thing that I feel. There's a lot of grace and a lot of wisdom with them. They're great teachers.
mm.
This is what I feel. I haven't actually seen them physically yet, but I'm going to Scotland in October, maybe sooner. So who knows?
I've never seen one physically. I've felt them
Mm.
before, and a couple of times, and they're like to me like all rainbow. So all I see is rainbow. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Well,
it's.
I've seen the rainbows, so maybe I have. And do you
Hmm.
know what color they are when they're born?
No, I just remember a couple of times, and it wasn't like a singular thing. It was just I remember like unicorn, and it looked like a rainbow, like
Yeah.
not rainbow, but like rainbow color.
Yeah.
Just all the like a almost like a pastel, like a bright, vibrant color rainbow.
Oh, maybe I haven't seen them then.
Hmm.
But they're gold. Some of them are gold when they're born. They're like golden.
I have no idea. I haven't had, like I said, I've just had a couple of slight, you know. Have you had any correspondence or communication support or lack thereof from traditional educational, principals like, teachers, administrators, the traditional schools, anything like that? Anybody give you a hard time? Anybody say yay? Anybody say boo?
No, no, not yet, not yet.
Hmm. No,
I did actually have one lady come in. She's a headmaster of a local school, and she
hmm.
said, "Leave it. I really want to bring this in the school." She said, "I've just got to figure out how I can weave it into the curriculum." That was cool.
Set up a field trip. We're going to
Maybe,
go to, yeah.
yeah.
What's the name of your
Well,
school? What's the name of the school?
Conker's Magical Earth Academy.
Oh, that's right. Conquers Magical Earth. Um, so you talked about they make magic potions.
Yeah.
What other things, if any, are y'all doing or have you done or will be doing as far as activities? Um, because I would imagine that unlike traditional school where it's memorization and reading and all that stuff, that this is a very much a sensory
Yeah,
involvement, like, the visuals, that type of thing, smelling, touching, feeling.
yeah,
What type of things have you
very.
done and are you getting into?
So we also do wand making classes. We do fairy door making.
Hmm.
We do candle making, where my candle we connect with plant spirits, nature
Hmm.
spirits. Um, I've got a new one coming in. We're making dragon eggs. So we'll be working with the dragons again. Um, oh, I've got one coming in April. It's astrology for teenagers.
Hmm.
It'll be kind of fun. Um, And then what else? Oh, we've had classes on crystals. I've got a lot of children are really well, yeah, I'd say children because I've also got like a little crystal shop inside. So children are my best customers with crystals. They love crystals. They're really,
Really?
really, really connected. So we teach them about working with them and how to make crystal grids and things like that.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow. And you have 200 acres to work with, or
160.
you have 160 acres to work with, dedicated space you can utilize as you want.
Well,
I
it's all
mean,
protected nature land.
yeah, like to play. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, yeah.
but it's right on the coast, so
Uh,
we can like a minute from our building is the ocean.
really? God,
It's talk about miracles, right? It's
miracle. Are you living there too, or you just go there to
I
work?
live yeah no I live just up the road. I can walk there in 15 minutes.
Wow, that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
That's pretty
yeah.
cool.
So literally two years ago, manifested. It was like my dream home and my dream job. It all just
Mm,
came
it's
together,
beautiful.
pretty much together.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's really cool. That's very, very cool. Um, have you heard anything from the children uh, in terms of their multidimensionality or their past life memories, or I've heard some, recently heard one that was talking about that they had come from the inner earth. Or we've heard other ones come talk about where they came from a blue planet and they came here to help do this or do that. Have you picked
Yeah.
up on anything like that?
No, but the parents tell me that
Oh, I got you.
that their child says to them, I remember being with the angels and choosing you before I came here. So there's we've heard that quite a few times that the children have full memory of choosing the parents before they came.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and other places that they were before here. But yeah, I haven't had direct
Yeah, but
conversation.
still, I mean, it's they're sharing it, which is cool. They're sharing it with
They
their parents.
they transmit codes to you through their eyes.
Yeah.
Something they do. Like some of them will like look right into your soul, and you
Huh.
know that they're transmitting something to you, and you just gotta receive it. It's
Yeah.
so pure and so beautiful.
Yeah.
The mind, I
Kind
have no idea what it is yet.
yeah, kind of like animal animals,
Mm.
that can do. And speaking of that, is there has there been have you involved animals? Are you going to involve animals with the children?
Great question. Yeah, yeah, I forgot about that one. So we have a zoology classes. So we have a lady that comes in who like brings an owl and a snakes and different animals
Oh,
that the
wow.
children get to hold, and they
Wow.
learn all about their habitat. And I had a day where I was questioning, what I'm doing, and then the next day I went in and I was just as I was packing up, there was a goldfinch inside, just
Oh,
sitting.
wow.
This bird just played with me for over an hour.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's wild.
yeah,
And do you do any like I know back in the day, 50, 60, what is it, almost 60, 59 years ago. But like when you here in the States, you go to nursery school, then you go to kindergarten, kinder.
yeah.
But there would be a time of the day where the lights would go out, everybody would get on a mat, and I guess it would be like a nap. But do you ever have times where you just everybody gets quiet and you just kind of like have
Yeah,
a
yeah.
group silence, or you know
Mhm.
what I mean?
part of the class in the potion making is we have a box of crystals and things from nature. So it'll be,
Mm,
rocks, pine cones or whatever, and the children choose what they feel most drawn to. And before we begin, we get them to choose one and hold it to their heart and breathe with it to connect with it. And they respond so well to that. And then occasionally you'll get a class that's a bit lively.
mm,
And so we just encourage them to do this again and breathe with it, and it just brings the energy down and it really
mm.
focuses them. Yeah, we do that.
Wow.
Mm.
And I would assume uh, that the children see the stark difference between traditional school and what you're doing.
That's why they're all asking if they can come here full time. And
Do you
some
think
even ask if they can move in. They want to stay there forever. Yeah.
that would be like Harry Potter, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Um, well, do you, I mean, I assume that's your plan is to eventually get to a point where it's an all day thing or whatever the time frame is. Like,
Yeah, I do. Well, so the stately home that's on site, when I first got the keys to this building, I don't know who it was, but the voice said, "This is just the beginning. Eventually, you're going to get the entire house and park, like the whole lot for the academy." So, yeah, I feel like it's just a matter of, it's not um, if, just when.
mm.
So it's yeah, it's a great, beautiful, great big building with I don't know how many rooms it's got, but it's even got one of those libraries, where you push the books and a door opens.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, it
Yeah.
sounds like it's already magical.
Oh, right. Yeah, it
Ha-
is. Yeah.
I know a lot of the buildings and structures over there are very, very old compared to America, at least
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the history they want us to believe anyway. Um, is it an older, are there older
Yeah.
structures on the property?
I think it's 1800s.
Really? Yeah.
Not super old, but yeah, pretty old.
Well, that's
Mm.
for Europe, it's probably not too old.
Yeah, exactly.
England.
And it does have a spring runs underneath that house as well. So
Wow.
the energy is just it's
Right.
bang on. It's perfect. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you had I think you have because you mentioned something earlier, but have you had like events like for instance like I don't know, like everybody come dressed as their favorite being consciousness, Merlin or you know,
Mm.
Mary
You mean
Magdalene
with the
or
children?
yeah, yeah. Have you? I mean, do you have like events like like a day event or or
We
I
we
don't know.
do we do birthday parties. We do a lot of birthday
Oh,
parties.
right. Yeah.
The children just like that's really popular.
Mm.
And some of them do like to dress up. Like last week we had Wonder Woman in the house.
Oh, wow.
A little 6-year-old, yeah. So they love to dress up. They'll come in like full wizard robes and it's
Really?
beautiful. Yeah, yeah.
Mm. Um. Hmm. Oh, and a big thing I think because I mean you represent all of us that have been in these circles. Let's just say that have
Mhm,
been sharing this timeline of the
mhm.
crazy people.
Yeah.
And you, like a lot of people, have and still do, living nomadically, living in the van life, not knowing from one month to the next by the old standards. And so there's been over the years a lot of talk about the transition of, let's just say, charging people, taking donations, somewhere in between, but ultimately abundance to include all things, not just money.
Mhm.
Are you seeing a correlation or a relationship or an evolution or something that's happening in terms of what you're putting out and what's coming back to you in the form of abundance in all its ways?
Yeah. And just the past few days, I've started receiving the message that a lot is about to come in because obviously we need money to buy it to get this house, and the
Mm,
house needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of TLC. So yeah, it's I'm told it's coming in. I always have enough for me. And actually, which is quite extra. I only really work on weekends. I just do 2 days.
Okay.
So, I do lots of things, but so to be able to have enough that I know I don't need to work very much if I don't want to. Because actually, working with these children, they are so high frequency that after 2 days, I'm pretty wiped out. I do need like complete rest and like a recharge,
Yeah.
holding this space for them. Because I'm not just holding the space for them, I'm holding the space for their parents, their grandparents, and then I have all the other people that come in to, just to be in the energy of the place, because the energy of the place is really beautiful.
Now, do the parents and the grandparents hang out during class, or do they just
Yeah,
come
yeah.
before and after?
No, they like to hang out. They like to watch the whole thing and be part of it. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Is sound, music, uh, singing bowls, stuff, things we might use ourselves, or is any of that involved?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. You're asking all the right questions. Yeah, I have playlists for every class.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, all to
Right.
the right frequency. Yeah, yeah. Every class, and it's very magical music I'll play, so it really, takes them on a journey.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
I
And I
can't
guess,
come over,
huh?
Todd, and
What's
experience
that?
it. I said you
Do
need to
what?
come over.
At some point.
Yeah.
It's when we have free, you know, when we all, I don't know, when we're all allowed to move freely, or we
Really.
all
Yeah.
begin to, I should say, begin to move freely,
Yeah.
which is really our decision and, under our control as we extract ourselves from, all the bullshit. Um,
Yeah. It won't be
which is
long
a,
now. Won't be
yeah,
much
I
long.
mean, yeah, I don't really get caught up in all that. I just can feel it like you're talking about, how you're saying, oh, I can really feel it coming on. I feel something coming on. I think a lot of people do. And again, we can go back to, this eclipse corridor,
Hmm.
which really, with the equinox in the middle, which is really a bookend of the one in September because we got two more eclipses with an equinox in the middle again. So, I mean, it by all, if I can see anyway, it seems like it's going to be a very, very, uh, different and expansive, period, and it's a whole different set of, you know energetic components in terms of how things manifest, when they manifest. The power has been turned on.
Mm.
you know the responsibility that goes with the power.
Yeah.
um you
Important.
know I've been, it seems to me like the emotions, are the key. Like,
Mm.
I was talking to Morgan a couple nights ago, and I was just, I guess, bringing something in, and it was like, we forget, and for lack of a better word, the prayers that we put up over the years, ever since we've been a kid. Like, I can
Yeah.
remember my heartfelt prayers, whether they were sadness or love, or, it's all love, but I mean, just where you're really, really immersed in this emotion, not where you're begging, even though sometimes we probably did, but there's
Mhm.
something about that. And it's like we're getting a handle on our emotions, and somehow or another, there's a way to pray from the heart or to create from the heart that I believe is coming to the surface now. I'm excited about it. I'm looking to really, sink my teeth into it and go. But I don't know if you can shed any light on this in your own journey, but there seems to be, a prerequisite or a key where you can't force anything, you can't rush anything, no matter how much the walls are crumbling around you. You just have to, like, no, it's going to be all right. You
Yeah.
just keep on going this direction, and which should be something that we understand by now, even though it's probably not. And I speak for myself because we went against the grain to get here in the first place. So why would we
Yeah.
stop? Why would we stop in our tracks now because of fear of, oh, well, that's not conventional or that's not typical. I mean, look what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's not typical. You know
No,
what I
it's
mean?
definitely not.
Mhm.
No, I'm one of the biggest weirdos there are, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, I mean, my journey was old life. Everything went marriage. The husband. I had my first business, and I went through a bankruptcy. I literally had no home, no money, and
Mm.
then somebody put a brick through my van window and stole all my clothes. So I had no clothes. Like
Yeah.
everything like whoosh, gone. And then, a period of nearly 4 years of just seemingly nothing. But now I look back and go, oh shit, actually, quite a lot happened.
Yeah.
You
That
know,
was,
feeling,
yeah. I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like those times when we think there was nothing there, that's when everything was coming in,
everything's coming in.
right?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So you need the stillness to allow for the space for more of who you are to come in. And the stillness, I remember, like you say, you're bored. I used to get so frustrated with it. Like, when is this going to end? And nothing that I tried to do would work. If I
Right.
tried to force it, nah, it's not going to
Right.
work. It didn't work. And then, yeah, suddenly met Dan, got this place, and then this, and so it all just sort of came at once.
Wow. So when
Mm.
did you meet him? 2 years ago?
No, we would be 4 years this year,
That's what I
so
thought. Yeah. So you met
2021.
him a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. Yeah. That sounds nice. You don't,
yeah.
um,
Patience. You have to have patience and just absolute knowing and faith, that
yeah.
it's gonna and when things arrive, they're way better than you thought.
Yeah.
Like,
I
wait.
agree.
Like, I dreamt when I was living in my van, I was like, right, I want to plant some roots now, but I want to be in a wood cabin. I want to be by the trees, preferably by a natural water source. I did not ask for underfloor heating or the biggest bath you can dream of, a walk-in wardrobe.
Oh
Do you
my
know what I mean?
God.
Yeah. So it's things are you get way more than you ask for. So I hope that gives you a bit of hope.
Oh no, I mean, well, I feel like it's a pattern that many of us have, or let's just say, yeah, a pattern,
Yeah.
like a cycle that many of us have experienced. Both the nomadic part, the isolation, the what's going on, the waiting, 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 and then the magic. Um, but as we've discovered, everything on the, on the linear timeline, we're not always doing the same thing at the same time. But
No.
yeah, definitely. And then it comes up again, like you go full circle and you complete the nine or whatever the cycle is. And then you start again. I really feel like I mean, and I was thinking about this yesterday again, um, when I was spending some time alone, and it was, that 12 years, 2012 to December 2024, like that 12 years, like I feel like, and I'm not saying this is accurate. I mean, I'm just seeing certain things where we're in another 12-year pattern and it's the same pattern. Except there's no resistance except for the resistance,
Hmm.
or the old patterns or whatever you want to call it, that's in our ego or in our head or whatever the case is. Um, and then the other part of that being, that um, we've reached a point where it's becoming irrefutable. Um, well, it's becoming inarguable, the path that we take. Like, you know what, we used to say, well, I can't go back now,
Hmm.
right? I can't go back now. Well, we really can't go back now.
Oh.
You can't even if you want to, you can't. So like
No.
one example would be, and I'm sure, and I haven't talked to a lot of people about this in the last year because I haven't done the number of shows the last year. Uh, and but you know how, and I'm sure you can relate to this. So as we woke up, you said your mom supported you. Uh,
Mm.
some of us had that. Mostly the majority of the family thinks we're weird.
Yeah.
Many of us got estranged. We lost relationships, like you said, lost jobs. A van got broken into. Everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now we're on this other side of something, and in more and more cases, there's reconciliation,
Hmm.
and those that once considered us crazy
Yep.
are coming back into the fold, maybe not real openly and overtly, but supporting us,
Hmm.
seeing us, and even seeking advice from us.
That
Have you
happens.
experienced this? Is your family supporting what you're doing? Are they seeing what you're doing? Do they see the change? Can you relate
Yeah.
to any of that?
Yeah. 100%.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I was the first one to kind of wake up in my family, but that now all of us are awake. So my mum and my two sisters,
Hmm.
they're all awake. So I'm still the the weird one. Like my mum said, she sent me a card and it was like, your children are like pancakes. The first one's always a bit weird.
And you were the first?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the first. Yeah.
Well,
But
the first ones are usually the highest, have the highest level of intelligence too.
oh, I'll tell her that. Yeah, and my
It's true.
sisters.
I mean, yeah, you can look it up. Look it up. It has something to do with the mother's natural biological something a woman carries. I can't remember. It's like I don't want to say fat. Fat is in a bad way, but like they have that soft tissue that men don't have. You know what I mean? And
Huh?
because I remember seeing this a couple of times, and they actually send it all to their babies so that they'll continue the bloodline, so to speak. So they'll survive. So they give them all this gold, and the first kid usually gets it. So
Mm.
yeah, my brother's pretty sharp. My older brother, and he's just as weird as we are. Although he thinks I'm woo woo. Yeah. So yeah, where do you go from here? I don't know. I mean, I think it's fantastic what you're doing. I hope and pray that more and more people are stepping into the type of um, purpose-driven, heart-driven service that you're doing. Does it feel like the Trinity energy to you? Do you feel like you're serving yourself, the other, and the collective equally through what you're doing as it's formulating, as it's being built?
Yeah, it's very, very doing this is very, very healing for
Hmm.
me. Very, very healing. But yeah, definitely the collective. I mean, I'm connected to a few others that say, "Oh, I'm receiving the same information about building this academies." I'm connected to one, Shelley.
Yeah.
Hi, Shelley. And she's in Scotland.
Hmm.
And so we're already building the next one in
Wow.
Scotland.
Wow.
Um, yeah. But the Trinity energy. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, when people say, what do I do? How do you explain what I do now? So I just say I'm a builder. Like I'm here to build. I'm very good at building, like making shit happen. And then, Monica, who I work with, when she first met me and she stepped into the space, she's like, "This is what I've been dreaming of for so many years." And I was like, "Oh, I wondered why I was building this," right? So, there's so many of us that are connected and we think it's our idea, but it's not. It's a collective thing. It's a field of consciousness, and we just either
Hmm.
say yes to it or we don't. Like with
I know this might be old hat, and maybe a question I won't be asking in the future too much or less and less. But I just have to say, things have changed so much. Let's just take this year. I mean, December was drones and UAPs, and we got wars and we got political presidential races and we got this and that and all these different things, the pyramids now and JFK and all that.
yeah,
How much, in all honesty, because I mean, it's hard to get on the internet, even on alternative sites, and not see, because like you said, these kids are seeing things for what they are, regardless of what they're being presented. And the same is happening for all of us. They're almost like like the weather vane that's going before us, or the one that's catching the intel and then giving it to us. But how often are you distracted? Is there any of that penetrating into your world, even just minutely, through other people or whatever the case is. It sounds like you're not having a difficult time staying on track, but I mean, how much of that is in your awareness, and is it diminishing from what it was?
No, another great question. So I'm seeing all these things that are being revealed and people are talking about, and I just observe it, and I just feel very, very neutral about everything.
Yeah,
Because and I feel I'm so driven and on mission with this that that's really all I can think about. Not only this, but the retreats. So they're like quantum leveling up retreats. So
yeah,
people that are ready, they'll come and
yeah,
within 1 week they'll level up big time. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm very, 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 very focused. Nothing can knock me off. Even I have even tried. I'm like, okay, maybe I should do something different. I can't.
Mm,
I actually can't do anything else but this.
yeah. No, I feel that. And
Mm,
another thing I was getting about that 12 years and 12 years was that, and again, I'm not saying I'm right. It's just a feeling I have that's growing every day, which is you actually came here to do, you
yeah,
actually did what you came here to do already,
yeah,
all of us. And now we're in like phase two, and phase two feels to me like almost like creating in a higher dimension
yeah,
that, for instance, just for understanding, like that that will survive death. Let's put it that way. Like in other words, we're building another dimension. Like if I happen to physically transition, I'm still there and we're still doing it. It's almost, you know what I mean? It's weird.
yeah.
Um, and I don't have my finger on all of it, but I forgot where I was going with that.
Well, that's true. I have a friend. I have a friend who channels.
But
He connected to the ones in the future that are running this academy here in Dorset
mm,
after we won. So they
okay,
came forward and shared what it looks like.
okay, I got you.
Really awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Um, I don't know. I feel like too that for all the things being disclosed, whether they're actually truth or not, you
Mhm.
know, uh, that, it ultimately they are distractions. They're just narratives. They're just propositions or presentations or however you want to put it. But the real emphasis that we're all getting to to live a, is to live a conscious awareness in presence with each other, and that is to do, oh, right there. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it glitched a bit then.
Yeah, my didn't that see how this stuff happens? My screen just went white.
Did it?
But yeah, like what you're doing, like with your partner, and you've got this space, and water's running under it, and you've got these souls coming to you, and
Yeah.
um, yeah, like we build from uh these core cells
Yeah.
outwardly. Now it's like um we talk about this over the years, like walk the talk, but I mean it's like being and doing, and chopping wood and carrying water, but at a higher level, at a level where you're conscious of the ripples that you're sending out, or they become more apparent, so therefore you're more conscious of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did actually. I went to there was a massive gathering here in Dorset when I first opened. There was
Mm,
about 200 people, and my
mm.
guys, I don't know, hi Elisa said, "You're going to be talking at this event today about your school and what you're building." I was like, "Oh." So I've never done that before. Got up and spoke in front of
Two
200 people.
200 people.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's all
That's
on a ley line, like powerful
most
energy.
most light workers would be scared shitless.
I was scared shitless. I was petrified.
Mm,
But when I
mm.
get the message, I just know I'm just like get out of the way and just do it.
Yeah,
Just do
yeah.
it. And anyway,
Wow.
so all these people are there meditating for new earth, calling it in. And then it finished, and I didn't hear this, but the guy said, would anybody like to come up and talk about what they experienced in the meditation? I didn't hear that. I'd just come out of this meditation. All I saw was Daniel in front of me saying, Lisa, now go up. And I was like, what now? So I went up and I was like, shaking, saying, oh, hi, my name's Lisa. I'm building this school. Basically saying all this stuff you're meditating on, it's here. It's here. We're building it.
Mm,
We need people. Would anyone want to help? And it was like you could see fucking tumbleweeds rolling by because I fucked up, right? Because it wasn't about this, it was about the star of the show. And I was like, but what about the meditation? What did you experience in the meditation? I'm like, but I'm saying everything you're meditating on is here.
right.
Did not go down well, which was very interesting.
Yeah, but the thing is the way this energy works. Well, yeah, it's always been upside down, right? And now we've made this shift, apparently. And so you could have 200 people there, and there were tumbleweeds, and everybody's like, "Who's this crazy lady?" But one person might be your first major benefactor. You know what I mean? They might say,
Yeah.
"Hey, here's 100,000 pounds. I saw you at this place, and you made a fool of yourself, but I was listening. Here's a check." Yeah,
Yeah, that would
so
be fun. I
you
tell
never
you
know.
who was there? Amanda Lawrence.
Oh wow, wow.
She was there, and then I got guidance. Go and say hello. Now you've done that. Go and say hello to Amanda. I was like, okay.
Mm,
So look, she pointed at me. She said, "Don't tell me your name." And she went, "You're Lisa Marie." And I was like, "How do you know who I am?
mm,
We've never spoken before."
mm.
She
Well,
really.
how close are you to the tour?
We're about it's about an hour and a half drive.
Oh, I
Yeah,
got you.
not
Yeah,
far, not far.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
shared with her, and I said, well, I'm building. It's Guinevere's Temple of the White Rose. Apparently, this is what I'm told. And she just giggled. She's got the most gorgeous energy. If you meet her in
Mm,
person, like
mm,
pure innocent child,
mm-hmm,
gorgeous. And she laughed and she shared that. She said, I was just making what did she make? Some kind of mandala with white roses, and she's just said it. Yeah, of
mm,
course, it's Guinevere. Yeah.
mm,
So yeah, she got it. She knows.
mm,
And she said, "Tell me when you like. I'll come and visit you." It hasn't happened yet because I haven't messaged her, but yeah. Bless her, Amanda got it.
mm. I think
And
we're all
some
getting it.
some people have since come into my space and said, "I saw you talk at that event."
Oh,
Uh,
cool. See, there you go. See,
a few people have, yeah.
wasn't all
And
tumbleweeds.
yeah, it wasn't no, like 4 out of
Wasn't
200.
all tumbleweeds. Oh, there you go. That's
Yeah,
pretty good. That's a pretty good percentage for us.
yeah,
Well, God, I really enjoyed it. We'll have to do this again. Uh, episode 42, Lisa Marie and her Conquers Magical School of whatever it's called, with the unicorns, dragons, children, grandparents. Yeah, it's a nice uh, energy to receive, frequency to receive, coding to receive. So thank you so much for coming in, and yeah, let's stay in touch and keep me posted, and maybe we can collaborate again, down the road.
I'd love to. I'm calling it. I can see it. I'm gonna receive so much money because Dan is a pilot, so I'm calling in enough for him so we can have our own. I want to do Conquer's Air School, Conquer's Air
There you
Academy.
go.
So I'd love to fly you and Morgan over,
Hmm.
and then we do a show from our academy. How about
Oh
that?
wow.
Do that.
Yeah. Anything's possible.
Yeah,
Anything's possible. You never know.
it is.
Anything is possible at any time. That's
Hmm.
that's part of this new energy. I guess we just
Yeah. So
the
just
more
yeah,
we
dream big,
yeah,
dream
absolutely. Yeah.
really big.
Yeah. Well, I don't think any of us would have come if we hadn't been dreaming big before we even incarnated. Like this is big. This is huge. Whatever it is, I guess remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Um, we're
Mm.
definitely dealing in beyond logic and
Oh yeah.
reason now. It's a different uh, level of intelligence, or maybe intelligence has superseded intellect. And it's kind of like uh, what is that guy, Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars, when they put the blindfold on him, and he has to fight that little training ball.
I've
Like
never seen.
driving. Yeah, or like driving, like that MacLaine Out on a Limb movie where she starts driving the car with no hands. That's
Yeah,
kind of to
yeah,
me like the intelligence, the level of intelligence that we're turning on or that we're allowing it is magical by human standards,
yeah.
and it will expand as we tap into it. But if we
Mhm.
stand back here and say, "Oh, I don't know," it's not
That's
going to
what
happen.
I say to the children. I'm like, if you believe magic isn't real, you'll be right.
That's
If
right.
you believe it is real, you'll be right.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's your
right.
choice.
Yeah, if you believe you can or you can't, you're right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, you take it easy, and thank you for
Well,
everything you're doing. It's really good to see you, and I'll
good to
see
see you
you.
back.
Yeah, I'll see you when I see you again.
Yeah.
All right.
Bless
All
you.
right.
Thank you for this. I love it.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
You take
See you
care.
later.
All
See
right.
ya.
Thank